sir. Thank you for having us.
HOLOH's in the house.
We're excited to be here.
Yeah, might as well get the full effects of the.
I installed that too.
Yeah, so
We did the lights, we installed that, we did the painting on the wall.
you need electrician work. Call Homie Toe.
Did you load it already?
Welcome to the Roach Clip Podcast.
What's up, guys?
You know how we do it. We're here live on Instagram, Facebook Live, Mixler, CannabisCactus.com, always free.
Never prickly.
Amen. You know how we do it, bro. The Blunt Master General is serving weekends right now for his DUI, so he'll be back on Wednesday.
Remember not to drink and drive. Always smoke and fly.
Amen. That is the God's honest truth. So shout out to my little brother. It was heartbreaking having to take him to jail yesterday. You know
poor guy.
Like I was telling my lady, that's supposed to be me. Like if it's me, the whole family would be like, oh, that's Tolo. But my brother, bro, it's just like fuck.
He's the good one, I take it.
Yeah, he's definitely the good one. But he has to serve 5 days, so he's doing 2 weekends and then
All
a Saturday.
Wow. You live with that, you know.
But you know,
Gets worse.
Could be worse.
No sweat. Yeah, no sweat.
exactly. But he'll be back with us Wednesday for Wednesday's episode. He'll mix next
Sweet.
Saturday, and then the following Saturday, which will be his last day, we're gonna go and do the podcast outside of the jail, and then just wait for him to get out. You know.
I don't know how the jail will feel about that. I mean, but
Oh, it won't
you
be our
gotta run
first. It won't be our first.
Exactly.
It's public property.
Yeah, right?
Do it.
When I got picked up by customs for CBD, and then
really?
released, we did the same thing. I actually had to go back in to get my luggage, and while I was in there, they called me and we did the podcast there.
Crazy.
That's funny.
So what, they picked you up for? I haven't heard that story. You got picked up for CBD from customs, or
Yeah, I was
what?
coming back in the country and
What's up
had
with
some,
that?
some tinctures and stuff
Oh.
like that, and they were completely outlawed.
All right, I
that
saw
what
that
that was?
cover. I didn't know what
I
that
remember
was
that
about.
cover. I was like,
I need
okay.
to check that one out, that ASAP.
I
So because it has a trace of THC in it, to them it's hash oil. They,
Oh, really? All
put the
right.
bracelets on me, took me right into the county jail, and they tried to stick me with over 400 grams possession
Because the weight of the tincture.
because the weight of everything that I had
man.
Yeah.
that tested for THC.
That way the whole entire thing.
Yeah. So then a month or two later, they federally passed the hemp bill, and now that basically decriminalized cannabis because they can't tell how much THC is in
Exactly.
it. They can't
Yeah.
prove it's over the 0.3%, and that's why I haven't been prosecuted, I guess. So.
For the threshold. I'll be your host for the evening, Tolo. I'm not here with the Blood Master General, but I'm here with the mustache from the South, Mr. Franco 602. What's up, Franco? How you doing, bro?
Yo, what's going on? I'm doing fantastic. Got a lot done this week and a lot of relaxation. So
Been a
Pretty
productive week?
productively relaxing week. Had enough highs.
You
Had
know,
Lows.
couple lows. I'm gonna sideswipe somebody today actually coming in.
Oh,
So
shit.
if you're listening, I'm completely sorry. You're in my blind spot. But I wanted to ask you guys, how do you apologize when you know you're at fault? Like I waved, I was like,
throw
oh
up
shit.
the
Like,
hard wave.
I was like,
Yeah,
oh.
like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, they're
you got to make the
behind me.
face, too, like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was trying to look. That's why I rolled down the window.
You do the whole.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Well, you can hit me if you want. No, but it was a good week. Thank you for asking. And I do love all the work that's been done in the whole building, from the Homemade Genius set to everything that's going on downstairs in the Cannabis Cactus office, and with Von Teasy doing all the work he's been putting in overtime. So
He epoxied the floor.
yeah, dude, it
Oh,
looks
man,
amazing.
So beautiful.
Yeah, so good job too. And then got the guest of the week, HOLOH in. So
We had good burgers from, have you been to
oh,
the
shit,
South
yeah.
Catering? Come
Yeah.
on, dude. You can't beat that.
Delicious.
So
So
great
was
way to
awesome.
start our Saturday,
yeah,
right?
it's barely 12:30, and that's
Now
all
we're
that
ready.
happened.
We're ready to see differently.
Right. It's going to
It's-
happen in just a second.
And straight
Thanks
from
for
the
segueing that.
Cannabis
Appreciate
Cactus
that.
Dungeon, we got Miguelito Mikey Milkins. What's up, Mikey? How you doing?
Ooh, feeling good, boys. Here to put the glide in your stride, the pep in your step, the funk in your trunk. Something like that.
You sound like a morning radio DJ right there.
Here to put the pep in your step, the
Yeah,
junk in your
exactly.
trunk.
That's right.
Welcome to Morning Radio, KDIF.org.
Here comes 90 minutes of Roach Clip Podcast. You're tuned in live.
And we got our weatherman for the evening, Mr. Homie Toe. What up, Homie Toe? Straight from the Homemade Genius podcast. Make sure to follow them at Homegrown AZ. hand him a little mic time, Mikey
Oh,
Milkus.
hop in here, boy.
Come on, come on.
I appreciate that. Check it out. New little gift from Sage Rock. Appreciate that.
That's their logo right there. Hell yeah. Now they got their
It's on the
character
table.
come to life.
But yes, sir. I appreciate it. We got the break in the table, so I'm pretty thankful for that. This is the first time we shoot anything on this table, so happy we can do it here.
Hell yeah, Roach Clip podcast style, baby.
That's how we do it, boys.
And we're joined by some wonderful, beautiful, freaking guests. Introduce yourselves, guys. From HOLOH, they're straight from HOLOH. Follow them at HOLOH on Instagram. What's the website? HOLOH.
Holo.co. HOLOH.co. And then holo_co for Instagram.
Cool. And what's your name, bro?
I'm Robert Cerrone. I'm the director of marketing for HOLOH. And
And my name's Alfred Hermes. I'm the chief science officer and co-founder of Endo Farms and HOLOH. Endo Farms is the company that produces all the HOLOH products, and HOLOH is our first product that we're releasing, which is our
All right.
concentrate line.
Hell yeah. And you guys came out swinging here with the lab-tested meds before it's required by state. Every batch lab-tested. Is that part of the mission statement there?
Yeah, big time. This has been in the works for 3 years now. So it just, anything that you try to do overnight, or you're thinking, hey, this is going to be quick, we're going to get to market, it's going to be great. You run into a million hurdles along the way, and those growing pains that any company or startup has. So 3 years ago, we would have been really radical or really new with the testing that we're doing. Now, we're just really ahead of the curve because the new laws are going to come into effect in November, but we're testing for everything that the new laws are requiring from producers. So we feel good that we're ahead of the curve. One thing that we were surprised with is that whenever it was announced it's happening in November, that everyone didn't already start implementing that day instead of waiting to the second, I'm assuming, or the day before it's required.
Right.
That was a little shocking because you think, oh, we just lost our little bit of differentiation we had because everyone's going to start doing this now that you have to in November. Well, that wasn't the case, and it was a little surprising because you would just assume that would be, but it's something that we're just pushing, that the whole market goes towards that, and that we get this market that has a lot more emphasis on putting out clean products for patients.
Yeah, now your lab's ready to go. There's a lot of people are going to spend a lot of money reworking their tech, their packaging, their whatever.
For our degenerate listeners, they hear scientists, they hear lab, they think we're Walter White in this motherfucker. What is HOLOH?
HOLOH is boutique hydrocarbon concentrate. So what that is we use hydrocarbon solvents, things like butane, propane. We use a closed loop system, so we're really pulling some what we consider some fun science. But for your average person, we're using solvents and gases to take out the medicinal components of that cannabis. Then we're on the back end recovering and evaporating and ripping out that butane, that hydrocarbon gas, so that when we're done, we have a full spectrum oleoresin extract that basically has all the constituents or the most desirable constituents that the plant possesses into a finished product, minus everything that it took us to get there, which in our case, it's just the solvents and the hydrocarbons we use. And that process that we do it in a real controlled environment. We're backed by science. Everything we do, we base on science instead of just throwing stuff in a tube and seeing what we come out with. So we had a lot of R&D into the process, but at the end of the day, HOLOH is just, simply put, fire concentrates, but on a deeper level, we try to make clean, consistent, reliable product. And the way we do that is through a lot of science, a lot of painstaking work, R&D. We spent thousands and thousands of dollars just to get to the point where we were comfortable with the product that we were producing, not only aesthetically, but also with quality and with cleanliness. Because again, the market doesn't require testing. Well, we're doing heavy testing. And we learned the hard way that maybe some of the reasons why people don't want to do testing, which forced us to be real careful and cautious of who we get feedstock from and all these different types of things that were the growing process to end up where we're at, which is a place where we can confidently say if you go get a HOLOH product from the dispensary, it's clean, it's tested for that product that you're actually consuming, and at the end of the day, you can get those results and feel comfortable about what you're about to dab or smoke, pretty much instantaneously outside of, QR coding your phone real quick and doing that. So that's really our mission is, we want to put out, one, I've been a grower for 20 years. I consider myself a cannabis, nerd and junkie to a degree, because I live and breathe for this stuff. Not only consuming it in all its different ways, but also just being ahead of the new curves in cannabis. Not only cultivation, but processing and all this. So I really want to consume high quality product. So I'm the guy who's a bud tender's worst nightmare because I'm critiquing things heavily. I'm, looking at what the product is. I'm asking the questions that a lot of people don't have answers for, like, is this tested? What's it tested for? How recent are the test results? Are they for this batch? And my whole goal is, I want to be able to make product that someone like myself has no question on taking, dabbing. All the questions that I would ask are answered almost just with the product itself, as opposed to having to go down this rabbit hole to find out, one, is my product even clean? And then, everything else comes along with that, whether you got reliable, consistent product. So that's kind of the, what I would say in a nutshell. But I'd like to hear what Robert has to say as well, just to get different input from our own company, because everyone has a different view of, what you have and what you are.
Zone to the bone.
Exactly.
Yeah, what Alfred said. From my perspective, I've gone up there a lot, up to the lab, and the way Alfred and his team does stuff up there, it really is lab-based. Clean room. The time that they spend, the system that we have is, they really put, there's a lot of, it's going to sound cliche, a lot of love that goes into that because they love what they do. They love the science behind it, and they want to make sure that it's clean.
That's something you'll taste. We encourage you to try for yourself because you'll notice that in the taste.
Yeah.
I did with the batter.
Yeah, and
beautiful flavor.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We really try, and the guys up there. Like I said, I've seen them do the work, and it's a passion and a love that his team has, and it really comes through in the product. So,
what year did you guys incorporate or become a company?
The
HOLOH brand.
The grind has been going on for a while. Endo Farms, the parent company, I started as a consulting company.
Can you get a little closer to your mic?
So Endo Farms, the parent company, I started as a consulting company over 5 years ago, where we just were doing building design and designing cultivations and extraction labs for people. And that really just turned into seeing the ins and outs of the industry, good and bad. And that sparked us to say, and initially me to say, man, this can be done better. We can do this right, because I see a lot of things that were done wrong and corners that were cut, or we would supply a great design. And, a lot of times due to monetary reasons, that would change a lot, because it would turn into, they'd have to cut corners and save money to actually get the project done. So it was no longer that great building or great cultivation or great lab that we had sought out initially with our architectural drawing. So it pushed us to say, man, we can probably do this better and do this right. And I partnered up with a couple of my current partners, and from there we, painstakingly started the process to get into the market, develop the brand HOLOH, and it's just been a love-hate relationship since then. At least with anyone who's growing a company, you realize it's such a difficult process, but when you have this insane passion that I have and a lot of our team has for what we're doing, it motivates you. Each hurdle is like a new challenge, and sometimes you don't even think you're going to get through it, and when you do, you realize, man, this is the wherewithal of the squad. This is all of us banding together to make this happen. And really the chips seem stacked against you, the cards seem stacked up against you, and when you make it through those things, you almost tell yourself, man, what we're doing might make sense, or there might be a reason behind this shit. Mm-hmm. And that's been a big motivation for us to say, hey, we're onto something. We've made it through, tons of storms and, shit storms and hurdles, but we're still in the fight. So it's a painstaking process, but we're so, we're nerds about this shit, so we love and breathe. We live and breathe it. So
that's what's up, man. The grind, the process. You said you've been in the game for 20 years, right, in the weed industry?
Yeah, I've been growing since, man. Our first time, I was 18 years old, went to Canada, bought seeds, because one, we could drink. I think I just turned 19, so we were able to drink up there. Went up there, got seeds, and that was the start of it. Redid my buddy's cabin, turned it into a grow, and never stopped since then. And then the industry came 10 years later, and it was like, oh, this is legal now. We have this figured out to a degree, even though in reality we had nothing figured out. But at the time we thought we did. Like anyone growing, that's still the case today. I can't even argue that now. But The thing
White
to
belt
rea-
mentality. You
Yeah.
always got to be a white belt in your mind. That way you could always
Yeah.
soak up new game.
We're trying to learn
I like
every
that.
second, and
White
we do.
belt mentality. That's
Yeah, you have to almost, And in the lab, we learn that more and more because every run's a little different. Consistency in the lab is something that you have to strive for and work to get. It doesn't come just naturally by the process. It's something that, you have to, you're tweaking things, you're tuning things. So it's an art to say that, people say, oh, extraction artist is such a ridiculous term. I'm not saying we use it. We try to be science and chemistry based. All my team is, but the art in it is the fact that this is an ever-changing process to where there's a little bit of tuning and things that are
like
different.
baking bread, huh? or
Yeah,
anything.
and I don't even know how to bake bread, so I can't even tell you. I have no clue. I couldn't bake bread for the life of me. I can, bake a,
Artisan.
crumble cookie, but I couldn't make a, food for shit.
Speaking of crumble, that's one of my favorites so far. We got the Jack Herrera crumble right here. But what mediums are you putting out? What kind of products are you guys making?
Well, we've got the shatter, the batter, the crumble. We're now doing, huh?
I'm gonna take a dab. I'll let you.
Oh, you all right?
Please-
take a
please
dab,
take
and
a
I'll
dab,
and I'll
would you?
and I'll chat. So we got the batter, the shatter, and the crumble. Those were the first products. We now have sugar. We're doing. We're going to start doing some testing on some live product that we're going to be bringing to market.
Can you break down the
and,
differences between shatter, batter, sugars for people that I don't know? Like
Yeah.
myself.
So the crumble. So the crumble is literally that. It's so every shatter, batter, crumble. They're all different form factors of an extract. So extracts maintain real high terpene profiles. The flavor's really good. And so crumble is exactly that. It's just it's crumbly. You take a little bit, as Alfred's doing, and getting things fired up. You can you basically vaporize it. Whether it's using like a pin or something like that. Shatter, translucent, glass-like. I mean, it looks like a piece of glass. Hence the shatter. Again, just a different form of factor of concentrate.
Is it extracted the same way? Or is it?
Yeah,
I'll let you
everything's
handle that
extracted the same way. Usually, it used to be like everyone starts for shatter. You know what I mean? That was the thing. You start for shatter and you go from there. Now the market's changed to where shatter, quote unquote, doesn't matter as much, even though some people really, like shatter. But we make, so all the different consistencies that we make, shatter, batter, crumble, they all start in the same place. Live resin has a little bit of a different life. That's my timer to take this dab, so I will answer that
Go
question
ahead.
in a second.
Go for it. And then the sugar. What's the sugar? I think that's you said sugar, right, Robert?
Yeah.
What's the sugar?
Sugar is exactly that. I mean, it's very sugary. I don't know. I guess
And
I
it's
call it
Like
not
sugar
just
crystals?
made. So it's not just made that way. It develops that way.
Right,
So it's more of
exactly.
the after processing that happens. And so by leaving it out, by it being exposed to oxygen, the way it dries out and does this or that, or it's whipped or this or that, and I don't know how to make it. So
Is he
I'm not-
right?
Um,
Oh,
is
there.
how it's
Might
going to
be
end
the
up. So
PhD.
you can take like a hash oil that might
Pimpin'
sugar
hose
up.
degree.
Just by leaving it in the jar, it may turn into actual diamonds. It may have stones and rocks in it.
What?
Still sugar crystals, but some people sell that as diamonds. Whatever.
Yeah, so basically what happens with product is depending on what you're shooting for, the extractor does have some control over the end product. So depending on how we manipulate it, like you said, we can whip something into a crumble. Depending on the container you put it in, you can even get some of those consistencies by accident, like a sugar. If sugaring can happen from tons of reasons. There could be nucleation is what happens on some
It could
level.
be strain particular.
It could be
right?
strain
One
particular.
does.
The way you run, one thing that if you run really potent product or really pure product, not potent, I take that back, and you're refining lots of fats, waxes, lipids out of the product, so you're de-waxing or you're just really scrubbing the product, polishing it to a degree, you have a higher chance of having those things happen because the THC to oily resin ratio is higher, so you can get precipitation, which is basically, like you said, diamonds growing out
You
of
get
it.
new things forming.
Exactly. So it happens from a lot of
Chain
different
reaction.
reasons. It's but we create our products based on the form factor we're going for as an end. Shatter is the thing. I was just today flipping slabs in the lab this morning because we made
Flipping slabs in
we,
the lab.
we made it.
Sounds like my new rap song.
That's life right there. That's always the weekend grind for me. But we don't do a lot of shatter. We do it, kind of based on order and as more of a limited drop type product because, batter is what's in right now. I like batter myself. I just like the additional terpene fraction that's in a lot of the batter. And the reason for that is, just to kind of give you guys an idea, shatter and crumble are the two form factors that usually live in the oven or are cooked and dried, I'm going to use for layman terms, the longest. So when you talk shatter and batter, those are going through the heaviest process of post-processing in terms of heat manipulation and vacuum. Now, what those do, and this it doesn't really degrade the product necessarily, but what it does is it's going to reduce the overall level of terpenes to a degree. Now, you can get crumble and shatter that's really high in its terpene fraction. However, generally speaking, a batter and these type of products that don't cook as much or under vacuum as long have a higher terpene fraction. It's one reason why live resins are popular. They naturally have a way higher terpene fraction.
You got that. That's where you get the flavor, right?
That's where you get in the flavor is those terpenes and flavonoids, which that's one of the reasons why we use a hydrocarbon extraction. Butane or hydrocarbon gases, which there's a lot of hydrocarbon gases from pentane to butane to propane, all the tanes, anes, they're hydrocarbon
Octane.
family gases. But
All your Hank
yeah,
Hills.
exactly.
All your Hanes.
Yeah.
Oh.
But those gases give you a really deep and a heavy. They're harsh solvents, so they're going to give you a real stripping of the product, which in turn gives you a full spectrum oilier resin, which is the constituents with cannabis that we're shooting for, all the cannabinoids and all the flavonoids and terpenoids. The other things you get with it are whatever else was in the plant. Something that extracts the good things that good also extracts the bad things that good. So if there's a heavy amount of heavy metals, if there's mold, mildew, if there's anything in that plant, let's just say the plant itself is a plant that produces a lot of wax itself. Now, the wax is what keeps plants waterproof. It's what all the leaf surfaces are covered in. It's cutin, it's the
shield.
cuticle, it's the shield, it's the waterproof barrier that plants produce. So even though you don't see it, every green leaf is covered in a waxy substance. Now, that waxy substance also gets extracted in the product. Now, our extraction process, we refine that heavily in the extraction process in line. So we're trying to make really pure product at the end of the day, but the gases we use give us the ability to give people a real full spectrum products. So you're getting as much of the plant that you can with the type of extraction process
and
we
those,
do.
Those gases are completely eliminated from the final product?
Now, we strive for completely eliminating the gases. However, usually you're going to have a slight amount of residual. So I'll put it into perspective. When you smoke a cigarette, or all of us, we just smoke that blunt, or you smoke a joint, that the butane that's coming off that lighter, for that moment you inhale that, you're getting hundreds, if not thousands of parts per million of butane. Now, in most area in the United States, basically 5,000 parts per million is an acceptable amount of butane, because when they say, hey, when you light a cigarette, we don't want this guy lighting a cigarette sucking over 5,000 parts per million of butane in his lungs all day each time he lights a cigarette. Now, 5,000 is considered safe by all medical standards, at least, and when I say that, that could be up for debate, but
I just took 5,000 right
exactly
there to the dome.
Easy, easy. I think you lit it twice, so you might have had 10. But at the end of the day, we strive for numbers that are under 500. And a lot of our products, if you look, you're seeing 23 parts per million. Those amounts, yes, there's residual solvents there, but the other thing that people don't realize is when you have leaves decaying on the side of the road that are all wet, or anything, a bug dies or a bird dies, those are emitting solvents as well, ethanol, things like that. So those aren't abnormal in the atmosphere that we breathe. People think, oh, I'm just breathing oxygen. Well, you're breathing like 80+% nitrogen really in each breath that you take. Not saying you want to suck down butane, but in the amounts that our products have in it, it's, it's really safe. Again, this is something that you shouldn't just be inhaling naturally anyway. No one's sucking on cans of butane unless they're looking for a good time, maybe, you know what I mean? And that's
I don't
questionable.
Even know about that.
You know what I mean?
Unless you're a magician trying to spit fire.
Exactly. So
in the Vegas Strip for a couple bucks.
So the gases aren't completely eliminated, but we eliminate it to what we consider a really safe level. And we try to strive for no parts per million, but
I like
we're
that
always
honesty.
getting.
Can I just interject that? I appreciate the honesty. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
appreciate
We're
that.
not trying to cover
it's
it
like
up.
saying broad spectrum instead of full spectrum, but just those technicalities that you are calling attention to.
Well, I think it's important for people to know. It's one, the honesty in the whole market needs to rise up to
Transparency.
where the transparency needs to be there. I believe every dispensary and everyone who supplies product to the medical market should at least be able to comfortably themselves as a producer, owner. And I know there's costs to this, and I know it's not easy when you have thousands of SKUs and all these things.
Right.
But being a startup who is cash strapped from the beginning, because we're not a bunch of guys just with millions of dollars or anything. No, we're like local guys like you guys. We just like you guys, we're grinding to make what we made happen. Like you guys are doing it with this show. But at the end of the day, what we said to ourselves is, listen, we might not make as much money as we would. Obviously, the market doesn't require us to test anything. We could just be selling this stuff, marketing hard, and we'd make a lot more money. But
Buying pounds of moldy weed and shit.
we told ourselves, well, you know what? First and foremost, we won't make money until we're making it right. And we're going to pay more for each product we put out there. So, being a startup and being as, fighting tooth and nail just to get where we're at, it's hard for me to listen to the other side saying, oh, well, there's a bunch of costs to testing. Well, at the end of the day, we're putting out quote unquote medical product for medical patients, whether they're using it recreationally or not. We're not here to judge or, we have no opinion in that, neither here nor there. But at the end of the day, the grade of product that should be associated with the term medical, it should actually exist instead of the veil assumption that everyone has, which is pretty sad because I ask people, when you buy something at the dispensary and it being medical, it means it's clean, right? It means it's safe. And most people who don't really
There's an
know.
assumption there, just the connotation of the word medical.
It's crazy. And
it must be safe. It must be tested, right?
It goes hand in hand. So for people riding that wave on the side of, people think it's safe anyway, so we don't have to test until the day we have to test. As a company, we don't agree with that.
And also have fun with that.
Yeah, exactly.
And get ahead of that curve.
Well, my whole thing is I tell patients, so since everyone knows since, almost last year, this new regulation's happening and that everyone has to do this full panel testing come November. How do you feel as a patient knowing that your producer, the person you buy product from, decided to say, you know what, we know we have to do this. Not only do we know we have to, we kind of all agree that the reason we're doing this is because it's needed and we should be caring about what patients are putting into their body. So no one can say, pull the card and say, oh, no, well, we don't give a shit about it. Everyone agreed and said, you know what? All they're really asking for is saying, hey, I'll hit that. All they're really asking for is saying, hey, you guys should make sure patients are getting safe and clean product. And no one really could say, oh, no, screw testing. You know what I mean? It's not a good idea.
I came from a market where it was already required in Nevada. So I come from Las Vegas, and I start buying my first eighths here. And I'm like, what are the top 3 terpenes in this? Or what's the THC
Good luck
level?
with that.
They were looking at me like I was crazy.
Well,
and
yeah.
And then the one dispensary that did have the lab results, they were from June of the previous year or whatever, So.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna kind of springboard off of is, our test results are for the product that you're actually holding in your hand. It's not 3 months old or 4 months old or anything else. I mean, you can actually scan that, and that's the actual product that the test results for that. It's more than terpenes and cannabinoids, which is what a lot of test results are. Springboarding off of Alfred, we test for microbials, heavy metals, residual solvents, pesticides.
And just to the people that don't know, those are extra costs to you guys. That doesn't come with a standard test, So that's something you're going above and beyond already.
Right, because again, it's all about the cleanliness of the product, which is going to impact the whole thing. So, again, we talked about standards. We actually, there's standards that some of the government agencies have, and we go half of that. is our standard. So
Your
we try and
acceptable
fall
range.
below half of what they already have it at. So that's kind of what we're doing with that.
So that for us being a cheerleader for that, that's always hard because you guys came on with us as a sponsor before any of this hit the shelves. So that
Yeah.
always makes you wonder, oh, what are we cheerleading for? When he dropped these first samples off, I saw how clean everything was from the box to the packaging. That gives you good enough confidence the way this was all put together that when I opened it up, it was going to smell good and be amazing, and it has been every gram that I've seen. So, dude, this
Yeah.
crumble is still moist in the most beautiful
Oh, it's
way.
terpy. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like
awesome.
usually crumble, a lot of crumble you gets fully dried out and it's just completely caked. And what that means is that most of the terpenes are gone. Terpenes are a wet substance, so terpenes are a solvent
They
themselves.
dry out. That's why yeah.
Well, just like the hydrocarbon gases are a solvent and they strip things and break things down, terpenes are no different. It's the same reason why, your pine sol smells like pine, what I mean? Well, that's a terpene, and that smell of pine.
You cut a fresh piece of wood.
Exactly. And that essential oil or oleo resin is a solvent, so it breaks things down. So along with that, it holds its viscosity, or it holds, it's going to be the sauce or the terpene or the liquid fraction that you see in extract. So when you buy diamonds, a majority of that liquid that you see in there, that terpene, is a terpene fraction, because terpenes stay as, they stay in liquid form to a degree. Now, when you get a crumble that's really, really bone dry, and sometimes it just happens. So I'm not saying every one of our crumbles are like that, but as a producer, we strive not to strip all the terpenes out. So our battle every day is, let's make super good product that looks good, that tastes good, and the taste and flavonoid part is, let's leave as many of these terpenes in here as we can. So if you see one of our crumbles and it's soft or has that consistency, it's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing.
It feels like really
it's
good hash in Europe.
Yeah,
Like it's got a
exactly.
feeling to it that I haven't felt in this market. I can't compare that to another crumble on the market. So I would encourage people to check out the crumble just for that reason.
I'm a crumble connoisseur, and I would give that a 5-star hammerlock.
The
Yeah,
one
and that's because for your
Thanks.
dabbers out there too, if you're not a dabber, Tolo rolls it in his blunts,
And I love crumble for my blunts. You could just mix it in with your weed. So you don't get like when you put maybe a distillate or something, you only get like
Yeah.
you get a wet spot on the blunt.
Yep.
With the crumble, I could actually mix it. I'll grind my weed first and then just
sure,
mix it
smart.
up in there. And
Well,
then
we got some
everybody always
push
asks
there.
me, "What's in here?" It's like
that's
It's
real
really
fucking
good.
smart.
you
I
don't
never
see the
thought that.
burn like you do if you put shatter in it or something.
Yeah.
yeah. So shout out to HOLOH, man.
Thank you.
Everything I've tried since day one, bro. It's been amazing. I met you guys at
Money.
the Top Golf.
Yep.
No,
Yep.
no, that's
And
good.
that's when that same night Reese fought Joshua, dude, and Reese knocked out Joshua. I was watching it on my
And
phone.
Reese-
Heavyweight boxing match.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, Mikey's like, why is he so excited? I'm like, bro, this fool just knocked out the fucking golden child.
The
You know
next-
what I mean?
yeah.
A fat
Video game
Mexican,
character.
dude. A fat Mexican. So it gives me a fucking Franco hope, you know.
Yeah, man, we're so excited.
We could be heavyweight champs one day.
Or
With all us fat men hope,
What were you going to say, Franco? I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
We all get there, guys. Trust me.
no, I just kind of been listening and just kind of reading the books and putting everything together. But the one thing I've kind of taken away is the health guidelines that you guys are talking about, right? Not only are you guys like pushing the boundaries on what's new and innovative in the cannabis community now, but it's even like literally I'm watching you like wipe down your equipment, right? Even just now out in like the world, right? Like that's your travel kit, I'm assuming. But I could only imagine how like the workspace is, or you know what I mean? So you look at that sort of stuff. So as a stoner and as somebody that's going through, well, what we're all going through right now, you can actually, if my testimony is anything, it's like you see that in the way they carry it in their everyday life. But also for the people that smoke and that aren't kind of like into that, it's fucked me up. I'm pretty stoned right now. So like,
Well, who's next? I just cleaned and sanitized the rig, so if someone wants to hit this, I'll load it up.
Who made your
I'll
rig
take
too?
it
And
down.
sorry to interrupt you, Robert.
No,
You're
it's
next.
okay.
Get the homie toe next.
Yeah, this is Adept Glass and Suitz Glass, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing the second one wrong.
Okay.
But it's a collab, and
Set up
Klein
the homie
bubbler.
toe. He just crossed the border last week. He don't know how to use one of those.
let's get on it. Yeah, I got a turp pearl in here and everything. You're about to
Yeah, dude. He
see
sees
some heady shit right now.
No, I was gonna say like a funny story about
Better
the
be
safety.
funny.
It is. It's good.
I'm just kidding.
What?
Puffco?
Oh yeah. Well, hang on.
Now,
So
Robert,
let me tell my story. So in
disclaimer,
terms
Robert's
of
not a
cleanliness,
dabber.
yeah, I told my dab story earlier. So anyway, the first time I went into the lab, okay. So when you talk about safety and you talked about what you were reading and stuff like that, first time I went in the lab, I just went to ask a question from Alfred, and before I could even enter the door, I had to completely suit up, put on a hairnet, put on the booties,
PPE, baby.
and put on gloves, and I went in and asked my question. And about 35 seconds later, I left the lab, and I had to take off the whole thing and everything else.
You know why
So-
too? Because look how hairy he is, man. He has to go through so
exactly.
much
There's
shit.
not enough.
He's like, if I have to go
He
through
goes
it,
through.
you have to.
He goes through a box of beard
There's
nets.
Yeah,
like
not
a-
enough PPE.
a day, because every time he walks out, it's off, and then a fresh one goes on.
You're gonna have to take a real dab.
It's
for
like
the
he's gonna have a
Puffcos.
baby every hour.
No, but you guys are going to influence the market with that. That'll be more because of what it's going to do to customers, and because patients are going to just be more knowledgeable about what they're asking for. That's going to drive the market. So
Yeah, and look,
it's worth spending money on marketing. You know what you're doing behind the scenes more than how pretty the product is when you're done, which is beautiful.
Yeah,
by
and
the way.
that's what we've always said from the beginning, and Alfred's always said, is that the packaging could look great, but it's what's in the jar. It's the quality of what's in the package.
And you mean down to the microbial level.
down to the
Literally.
microbial?
Literally,
Yeah,
yeah.
down to the
It
last.
has to be
Like
down to
the
that
last
level.
grouping.
Otherwise, the rest of it doesn't matter, right? Because if you make it look great, taste great, and people don't know, and this is the thing, my whole thing is it doesn't matter if it's there or not. It's about having no clue as a consumer if it's there or not. So when anyone buys most of the product out there, and I'm gonna challenge that's over 95% of any products you can get in a store right now. And there is a
HOLOH
couple
challenge.
guys doing it right, and I commend those guys, because we're a small group of people who's actually doing that. But when you go in a location, my biggest issue with the product, and again, I'm cannabis, nerd, connoisseur, fiend. I buy my competition. I buy, other product. I like it. There's other guys doing things right, but the hard thing is anyone, including myself, when I buy most of that product, you really have no idea if it's clean or not. It's just an assumption you have to have. And when on the producer side, anyone who's worked in a lab and actually made oil knows that that's not always the case. That
So good point. That doesn't matter if you're the coolest kid in school, company-wise, or if you're the best producer in town or whatever. If you don't know or have that guarantee, just the backing of your reputation doesn't give you peace of mind
No,
like a lab result does.
and it can't. That's the thing. Any of the processors at those locations would know. Yes, the crop could have been completely successful, no mold, mildew, nothing that was visually suspect that they encountered. But
Right.
if you're not doing testing, and some of the testing goes beyond just testing the flower. You can't always just test the flower and assume that the end concentrate is going to have the same results as the flower, which could have been a
Very
clean
much,
bill
very
of
much
sale.
agreed. Yeah.
So, it's not enough just to have clean flour, and some places process with clean flour, and again, does every grow have issues? Yes. Does every grow maybe run into things like PM and all that here and there? Yes. Can good extractors deal with that and remediate it? Yes. However, peace of mind is everything, and when you buy a Snickers bar, you pretty much got peace of mind that it's not filled with mold, heavy metals. Like, you actually don't even have peace of mind at this point. There's no
just gobble
question.
that.
no,
bit
it's
sound.
we're indoctrinated in that.
No one
and
questions that
we
stuff.
don't have that in the cannabis industry,
It's
so I'm
sad.
actually started an article. I spent my morning writing about how you can go buy a Bud Light in any gas station across America and it tastes the same,
A Modelo.
or a Modelo
Modelo.
in our case. But they rotate that stock. Those companies don't trust their retailers to rotate stock for them. Unfortunately, in the cannabis industry, a dispensary can buy as much weed in bulk as they want, let it sit on the shelf.
No regulations.
And so you can go in and buy a trusted brand that you buy, and we've heard it about some of our favorites that you bought an
I'll let you
eighth
know.
and then it wasn't up to par. It was dry. It didn't taste good. It didn't get me high. And that's because somebody
I'm
let it
looking
sit on
for.
the shelf in that bulk bag with a Boveda pack in it, and you didn't get that fresh terpy weed like we got the eighth pre-pack jars straight from the grow or straight from the dispensary. But yeah, we don't have that regulation in our industry. So.
How about you, Robert? How long have you been in the marijuana industry?
Not that long, actually.
Not that long.
Yeah, about I'd say about a year and a half, a little over a year and a half, and from doing a lot of marketing for a lot of different companies, being offered the opportunity to work with Alfred and just be in an industry and something new and just seeing how this industry works is
we're dabbing it. Yep.
Yeah.
It's going around the
I
table.
have a cough drop that somebody
He
left
has
me.
one single
I
cough
have
drop
one
in
single
front of
cough
his.
drop.
Is that your podcast readiness kit?
But seeing how this just the cannabis industry, the people within it, the passion for it, has been just awesome.
What got
Amazing.
you into the game? What made you join the industry?
I've worked in marketing with probably all the major industries. This just wasn't one I had explored. The opportunity was presented to me, and I leaped on it. So.
Were you already a stoner? Or
No, I was not a stoner.
are you a stoner?
I'm almost there. Alfred's got me like 80%. 80% of the way.
You're on your purple belt?
Yeah. Brown belt,
There's
black
no
stripe.
peer pressure involved,
Taekwondo
ladies and
people out
gentlemen.
there.
Don't believe what you hear. Don't
Now, how
believe
about
what
you?
hear.
20 years ago, what made you get into the growing game? Or, I mean, I assume it's growing, right? 20 years ago?
Yeah, no. Well, it was. Yeah, no. Whenever we started smoking, and I guess kids shouldn't do this, but like 8th grade, 9th grade, freshmen, and in my
Where you at,
freshman year,
up in Humboldt
I've had to
County or
stop
what?
asking
No, we
that.
were here. We
I've
were
had
here
to
in
stop
Phoenix.
asking that
Arizona.
question. We used to always ask people when the first time they smoked was, but it's always too early that we can't publish that.
yeah, right.
But I feel you.
Yeah.
On the Roach Tide, we could publish it.
No, yeah, it's fine here, but like in the magazine, I just have to leave that interview question out. It's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
In the 7th grade, we went behind
just say
the video.
allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly, there
Yeah,
you go.
allegedly we were
Learned-
smoking
learned
back
that
in
from
8th
Wendy
grade,
Williams.
and by the time I was allegedly a freshman in high school, we saw High Times magazine,
Whoa.
and for me that was it. Seeing the High Times and seeing how flour could look, and we were doing a lot of Mexican Reggie,
yeah?
which was we were killing it. You know what I mean?
Still getting high as fuck with some.
Yeah, well, we were smoking and doing other things with it, and it did us well for a long time, and then we got exposed to dank. Back then it was dank bud, kind bud, and the first stuff I saw that really turned my head was some strawberry cough I bought a gram of, and it cost me $30 for the
bucks.
gram, which was crazy. You know what I mean? But I was like, you like. I sell half ounces for that, you know what I mean? Or we buy half ounces for that, allegedly, and
Allegedly.
it was
Allegedly.
it was one of those things where it was like, yeah, why not? We'll see if this is just a ripoff or not. We felt like it was, even though it looked pure white, it looked crazy to me. I didn't know what I was really looking at. Smoked it, best stuff I ever smoked in my life. Got introduced to High Times shortly after, and it was over. I was hooked, and then I was like, oh, people grow this stuff, and people in America grow this stuff. It's not all coming from over the border, and we just didn't know anything better back then. We knew people were growing, but we thought that was homegrown, and homegrown back in the day had a negative, name to it. It wasn't good. So we saw this stuff, and it was ridiculously good, and it was like, well, we need to figure out how to do that. And then, from there, it was, history. We were growing a couple years later. By my senior year, we had a whole house
Allegedly?
we were growing. Yeah, allegedly, yeah. And allegedly, we, never stopped from then, and then
Dope, bro.
legality happened, and,
Now it's a career.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, congrats sticking it out.
Oh, dude, it was painful.
It's a puzzle. You've been playing the.
I think you cracked one of the biggest codes too, where it's a lot of people trying to figure out how do you take something that's allegedly illegal and turn it into an actual company, turn it go legit with it, right? And that's I think it's like people like you guys who are doing it are like who are battling like the corporations coming in, right? Like you guys are the ones that are saying like this is the community that started it, therefore you guys are the ones that like you guys are becoming corporate as opposed to corporate taking over a community. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
that's the goal.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense, which is a whole big topic unto itself. But yeah, it's the transition that you said that was really good. Is that it's smart. Yeah, you're like mic drop or mic push away. Is that it's when the growers come together, they know how to and the guys who are making the extracts and everything else, turn into a corporation rather than a corporation just looking at the dollar signs or potential dollar signs and just coming in and
Sucking you up
them
like
all
Kirby.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
exactly.
that threat's not here because they don't have the knowledge. Those companies fail, like MedMen or any other one that you've heard of in mainstream America, just tanks because they don't know cannabis from peanut butter, you know. And so that's why we don't have to worry about being taken over. The people that care about the plant from the seed to the sale are going to be the ones that have control over it, I think.
Yeah.
It's always been that way. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I would say, to what you said is your name one more time.
Franco.
Franco.
With an F.
Yeah, the stash. I just like the
F
stash.
like fundido.
But like the stash said, basically, what it took to get here was just being like blindly passionate. Like, and honestly, like being that kid who's so into video games. Well, I was so into cannabis, like that kid who plays video games all day. You know what I mean? At some point, we had allegedly 10, 12 grows that we'd be having to visit every 2 to 3 days just to feed, and it was a nightmare. I was going to college full time, doing the right thing, getting a degree and all that stuff. And
Agriculture degree.
No, back then it was first it was psychology, and then I was like, this ain't, it was cool. Maybe I was trying to figure out what was wrong with myself, and then went for finance, ended up getting the finance degree, and then more recently went back to school for ag, just because we had been growing for so long. It was like, all right, we know how to grow cannabis, what we thought really well, or at least good enough to get by with, the product we wanted, but I didn't know how to grow anything else. So it was like, well, let's figure out how to grow all the other stuff, and then more recently went back to ag. But no, back in the day, it was really just going from falling in love with it, being like that kid who's passionate about baseball or football, but being like blindly passionate, to where we were doing stuff at some point that we knew was against the law allegedly, but we were so passionate, we were like, no, we're going to do it. And we weren't like doing it to be, some crime organization or something.
Yeah.
We were like, dude, kids who love growing weed, and we're like, man, we're going to grow as much weed as we can, because
like
we want to
growing
share
tomatoes
this
or
with
potatoes.
everything. Yeah, and we were like, we want all our friends to have it, and we were, and we got passionate about strains and breeding and all that. So we had our own internal challenges of we want to make the best weed in Arizona and have our own strains and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, it was just being like crazy passionate about it, to where we knew we were probably going past where we should, and we were crossing the line, but you couldn't tell us we were going to stop, because we actually loved it. And I think anyone who's that passionate about cannabis, if you're doing things on the other side of the law, I would tell you, one, you should really think about how you can incorporate that immediately into some part of the legal framework of what's going on, because there's massive opportunities still. In the beginning, it might not be as lucrative as what guys are doing outside of that, but you have to take those sacrifices if you're really passionate about it. If you're doing it for the right reasons, and it's not just money in these things, then, I would tell anyone who's really, passionate about cannabis, there's probably a lane or a framework that you can figure out based on what your real passion is. Let's say you love cooking, or you love baking, or whatever, you love gardening, obviously those things can correlate into cannabis pretty easy. But there's other things, like if you love makeup, like a girl who loves makeup, and I know you love that, Franco. It goes with the stash, so if you want to like get into cannabis makeup, Franco, you can. There's an opportunity there still for you, guaranteed. So I just tell people, even if whatever the thing you're into, however obscure you might think it is, I bet you there's a cannabis version of it. And, thinking about how to get into that.
Or there should be.
Well, exactly. Or there will be. That's just the truth. I think it'll touch 80+% of all the products that we consider, standard consumer products. Like how you buy cereal and it says, fortified with vitamin B, folic acid, and all this stuff. Well, there could be it's not going to be THC, but there could be a cannabinoid in that in the future, an obscure cannabinoid, that doesn't have any psychoactive or anything, but just helps people, be resistant to, I'm just going to throw something crazy out there, like cancer or whatever the heck it could be. We don't know enough. We haven't, dove into the really obscure cannabinoids, and some of the ones that are in such low amounts in product that you can't even, they're non-detectable in some strains, or there's new ones still to be found, that haven't really been,
and it's worth exploring.
Found.
It's worth
of course
funding.
it is.
It's worth to like.
And people are gonna. There's no doubt about it. That takes big money and big science, but everything's headed towards that direction. And I think one day, it will touch 80% of the products. We already know it's getting in beer. I hope Modelo is one of the guys who, Heineken's actually a little bit ahead of the ball.
I fucks with Heineken.
Yeah, Heineken does, they're diving into cannabis, so.
I like
cool.
that.
And I don't know if I can even say that, but, it seems like they are. I think they are. You know what I mean?
That was an NDA,
Yeah, I've
but
allegedly
we should
seen
break
them at
that.
other events. And,
Allegedly.
you know what I mean?
Allegedly.
Like, hey, who do you work for? I work for Heineken. Oh, you're at this weed thing, all right, so.
Because our corporation.
But we know that Corona bought stake into the cannabis industry and some of these other groups, so it's coming to the things that are obvious, companion products, beer, things like that. But I think certain cannabinoids will be in some of the obscure stuff, like Franco's makeup, like cereal, like all these other things. You know what I mean?
I like me some Alfred.
It doesn't stay on very well. It smells great.
So I
makes me feel
I
great.
challenge anyone, if you're
I
on
feel
the other
beautiful and I
side,
look beautiful.
figure out a way to get on this side. And telling you from a person who was growing for over 10 years, allegedly before the laws had changed, them changing to me was a blessing, because I said, I'm going to find something that works within that. We were cultivators, so it was a pretty easy jump, but that's turned into something completely different now. I never knew I'd be founding an extraction company. Back then we made bubble hash and we're just diving into, open blasting, but we didn't know anything about this business that was the extraction industry back then.
The butane clan.
Yeah, exactly. We were just, we were naive to what the potential was, but I think now people can see where it's going. And, coming from someone in the industry, I think almost anything someone can think of, there can be a cannabis or a hemp or a cannabinoid or a terpene play on most things. You're into household cleaners. Well, there might be a cannabis terpene that cleans things better than your citrus terpene that you sell.
Yeah, some
You
kind
know
of
what
wood
I mean?
cleaner.
So, yeah, it's going in those directions, and people need to think outside the box, because, anyone can just dive in and want to be another grower and do these things. And I, push people to do that. We're all in. I'm one of the people who's, saying, hey, the industry should grow as a whole. Let's have more people in here. Let's not have it just for the few, you know what I mean? Let's have, the ability for, other people to get in whatever facet they can. But, I think that people need to think outside of your standard, I want to grow an extract, because there's probably ways for people to get in that are, not really inside the box whatsoever. So
Get in where you fit in.
exactly.
Even to the
How's our
make it.
connection?
Huh?
Can you hear us?
Who?
Had some people saying we're weak and choppy. I don't know what that means, though. Am I weak, or is the connection?
They're talking about your beard. Not just kidding. It's
I'm
No,
weak.
it says,
beautiful.
it says
It's
connection
beautiful.
is weak and choppy. So I just wanted to ask
Aw.
Tolo for a station identification. You are tuned into the Roach Clip Podcast.
You are tuned in. Hey, I got a funny butane story.
Let me hear it.
All right, Hank
Is it
Hill.
funny or tragic? What happened here?
Tragic
All right.
and funny. Nobody died, so that's
All right. Good. Good.
So it's me and my brother, dude. They used to call this shit we used to buy honey oil, back in like 2002,
Yep.
2003. And one day I got on Yahoo.com, before Google, and like, how do I make honey oil? And these dudes like showed it's a PVC pipe. We made it. We put a coffee filter in the bottom. We put the top in the. So you fill up the PVC pipe with weed, and we went to the fucking dollar store and bought butane cans, and we went up to the hills in my homie's van, dude. I mean, we grew up in Cali, and we would buy this honey oil, but we wanted to learn how to make it, and we looked it up online. So we bought the PVC pipe. You fill it up with weed. You put a coffee filter in the bottom. You buy a
Clamp.
PVC top for the top, and just drill a little hole in the top, and then you just fucking put a pan under it, and then you let
Just
it.
mash it
You
down.
smash it. You let the butane go through that PVC, right?
Wow.
And it lands on this container, and then we had hot boiling water, because it said to put that container on top of hot boiling water to evaporate the butane. So we're in the van, bro. My
Oh
brother
my God.
fucking lights
So
a
cool.
lighter, dude. My brother lights a fucking lighter in there, bro. A big ass fucking
gonna
fireball, dude.
Of course.
Dude, we all fucking jump out the van, bro. My fucking eyebrows were gone. Good thing I would shave my head back in the day, but my eyebrows were gone. And my homie who owned the van was just yelling at my brother, like, "What the fuck are you doing, bro? What the fuck? You almost killed us." Trying to make
the thing that's
honey oil.
flammable is those gases.
But
like,
now,
not
big
the
time.
liquid.
Big
Now
time.
it's like,
Yeah.
dude, we're literally just making fucking shatter wax. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And all we would do, we would scrape it with the razor blade and put it inside our fucking
Wait.
joints.
Did you get anything
There was no
though?
dabbing back then. Yeah, you
So
would-
you did get it?
Yeah, so it would be
So-
it would
so
turn
mission
fucking
complete.
yellow or brown or whatever, and then you just scrape it off with the razor blade, bro. And we looked that shit up online, dude, like in 2003.
Where'd you
dude.
get boiling water from?
Well, we took hot water. I think we
Oh.
boiled it at home and fucking
Yeah.
drove it up.
I got so many questions.
But we wouldn't make it at home. No,
You're
because
like, so
afterwards,
explain the
Yeah.
concept
'Cause
of
afterward-
boiling water.
afterward we would make it at home, and
That's
we'd put my
crazy.
mom's coffee thing on the, make it boil. We'd make it in the backyard though, in the open, and fucking we didn't know what dabbing was. We'd just put it inside our joints or smoke it inside the bongs. You stack it with the weed.
Well, my one disclaimer is what was described was the most dangerous, and we do not recommend way
not
to do.
try
Yeah,
this at
exactly. Never do that.
This was what, almost 20,
Dolo
like
was
17
lucky.
years
Yeah,
ago.
no,
Dolo was
that,
lucky.
That's
that-
before
that's
I
how
ever
people
heard
did
of-
it. Yeah.
I never
It's-
heard of
Drop
dabbing.
right here.
The
need
PVC pipe with the hole drilled, that's super sketch. But just like you said, that was probably what was online back then
That's
to
what was
actually tell
online,
people
dude.
how to do it, which is scary. That's
Hella scary,
it's
bro.
really scary because
Yeah.
that's man, the pipe could have exploded on you. If the diameter of that.
Oh,
hole
Matt,
got
shrapnel.
small, it could have been real bad. It's like the person didn't tell you that when he posted that online.
No.
But that's the evolution of this industry. Is it went from really risky stuff, people not knowing what they're doing, down to it being a close to what's going to be a hard science eventually whenever universities can get involved and things like that. But right now, guys like us are just trying to do it with, as much of a science background and, use real lab work and, real lab practices as, how, what we live by when we're in there doing our processing. So we're not just, doing it how I did in the beginning. My method was we had steel tubes, rubber stoppers, gaskets, metal screens, not too far off of what you're doing, maybe a little bit safer, but still don't recommend anyone doing that. But it was the way we did it because that was what I found online or found from my buddies in Humboldt at the time who were allegedly doing it up there back then. And, it was something that's grown into this, field and this practice of this area of expertise now, which is really exciting. So again, for anyone looking to even extract out there, that area is growing.
Don't do what Tolo did.
Yeah,
do
definitely.
what Holo does.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Oh, way to
Yeah, but don't do what we did back
I'm
then
gonna write that
either.
down.
Yeah, there's a right
T-shirt.
way. Open blasting is it can be done right outside and stuff like that, but it's not recommended in any way. It's do it right. And I tell people if you really want to do that one day, don't just go to companies and say, hey, I've extracted in my backyard with an open tube. Go to
Almost
school
blew up a
and
van.
get a degree
run
in
plenty
chemistry, you know what I
successful
mean? Or at
half-lives.
least be going to school for chemistry and be taking organic chemistry classes and, have some type of experience that's relatable. I've seen head chefs get into extraction and things like that just because there is some relatable, points there where, they're figuring out formulations and recipes and those similar things happen in cannabis. So I just challenge anyone to if you're looking at getting in the industry that look at some of those different angles, and if you want to do some of the staples of the industry like grow or extract, those are areas of education already, in the form of chemistry, in the form of biology, in the form of agriculture, in the form of farming, and all those type of things. So there's just a lot of opportunity there still. It's exciting, because us as a company, it's like these are our first products, but who knows? Here soon we might be making a Franco's makeup type product, or a mustache cream or something like that. It's like it's not on the horizon or anything. So
A mustache
disclaimer.
cream would be perfect, dude.
But yeah, you just
like
never
an
know.
Elmer's glue type
Yeah,
of
exactly.
thing. You call it the mustache
Hemp,
glue.
cannabis
That's it.
derived,
Speaking
Franco's
of the
mustache glue.
Mustache.
Come on, order now. Go to cannabiscactus.com. Hit the shop. Order your fucking container of Franco's mustache glue. We're about to infuse it with some HOLOH, CBD,
I would use
CBG,
it,
and THC.
You can only get it. You can only get the thigh tickler with that glue.
No, you want that CBD one if you have a date night, in case you eat some apple pie.
Yeah. In case you got some thighs to tickle.
Yep, exactly. In case you need to infuse the goose.
I think you hit on something really important, what you were talking about, like the education. Because so many people, like in the cannabis community, they think, oh, I dab all the time, or I'm going to go and become work with these grow ops and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, you have to. You can't just be some schmo off the couch. Like, you have to put in your work through, the education and to be tried and tested to, but you can do it. there is that option to go into that career, you just gotta be on your game like anything else, you know. And it wasn't what's the word? Handed to anybody, you know. It wasn't you. You really had to like put your time in to learn about this sort of stuff, and that's obviously being shown through your product. Because I know these guys got a really high tolerance, and myself, and we could all really feel like I could tell you're stoned.
Yeah, that was some crumble
Don't tell
dabs
on me,
again.
Franco. Why you snitching? Snitches
Oh,
get
did one of those
stitches.
blunts have some in there or
But we
something?
drinking too.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. All right.
Okay, that explains a lot.
Alfred,
for me
where
right
can
now.
where can we find the goods?
Robert might even know that better than me, but a handful or a couple dozen dispensaries or so.
Yeah.
The next 20
Should we
seconds.
name names?
Sure, in the next
Okay,
20
we're
seconds,
at
tell everybody.
Nature's Medicine. We're at Nirvana Centers.
Nature's Wonder,
Nature's Wonder. Jars Cannabis.
Arizona Cannabis Society.
Sticky Saguaro. Yeah, where else?
Shout out
We're
Sticky
at
Saguaro.
Green Hills Patient Center all the way up in Sholo.
Untamed
I love,
Herbs.
Nature's
Yeah,
Medicine. You're
Untamed
doing
Herbs.
specials there in jars. I know. Look for those specials. They're
Yeah,
coming
they're
every
great
week.
Arizona
partners.
Cannabis Society.
Yep.
And yeah.
A couple others that aren't coming to the head right now. But
We will give them a shout out all over Instagram, though.
yeah.
We'll probably say that. Are you guys restarting?
Nah, we're good.
Oh. Don't want to knock
Is this
that
break
over.
time?
Nah, we're good.
There-
Sorry.
No, I
Say
just
another day.
this.
Our Instagram live ends in
Yeah.
an hour,
Oh,
so we just wanted to get the last.
That's why I was like, tell me where you can get it.
Oh, did you get?
Yep.
Yup, we
That
got
was
everything.
fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic.
Dude, no one.
Holo.
I know. I did. I'm high, dude.
All right, now
you're
we
good.
can all.
I got
Hey,
another one for someone.
you know what's funny? We
What?
got a tradition on the
All right,
podcast.
do that. Because that was a barely.
After the Instagram live
That's good.
ends, we all
That
get
shows you
naked.
how
I hit
little
that.
bit
Yeah.
you
So you guys,
Oh,
and
you
we,
hit the blunt? Oh,
we usually
that's where
start
you
with the
fucked up.
guests.
Two times I hit it 2 times.
See, I thought you were
And then we
just.
bust. No.
Peen first.
Then I apologize.
Don't apologize, jeez.
Oh, you guys didn't hear the announcement? After the Instagram live ends, we all get naked, and then
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
nobody-
that's
You
all
know,
right.
Nobody's
I remember
watching
that
anymore.
The last time, and that's when I had to
No
shut
one's
it off.
watching. Let's take our
yeah,
clothes off
he
now.
was here last time. It was fun. We had a bubble party.
I don't know
Smart.
what that means.
You know,
Starts
what is
now.
a phone party? The phone
Oh,
party.
the phone parties. Yeah, I know what that is. Where they have all the
Oh shit.
All right, I want to do a little. We call it Family Feud. I'm your host for the evening, Steve Jimenez III. I'm gonna pin the Roach Clip Podcast versus Holo. We're gonna play the quick game of Family Feud, and I'll be your host for the evening, Steve Jimenez
Righteous
III. With the Cannabis Cactus / Roach Clip Podcast team, we got Mikey Milkus, aka Miguelito, and Franco 602. What's up,
Greetings.
guys? How you guys doing?
We're gonna take it down today.
You're about to take it. Hey, homie Toe, can I get a couple of those beers if you're about to dip? Because Steve Jimenez III is a slight bit of an alcoholic.
Steve
Tolo's
Jimenez
not,
the
but you know I got to play the character. Oh, I thought you were leaving. Come on, don't leave with all of them.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm fantastic.
It helps with the cotton mouth that we got from this fabulous Holo.
All right, so we're gonna go against Holo. Holo, you guys know the rules of Family Feud. We're gonna
Yes.
put. So
Where's the
we don't have. So we don't have a buzzer. You're gonna pick somebody to go head to head for the first. You know,
You go first.
one-on-one
Yeah,
challenge.
you go first.
What's your name again?
Alfred.
Alfred
All right,
versus
it's gonna be
Robert.
Alfred and Frank. Yeah.
That's not Frank. That's Robert.
No, to go.
One on one.
No, yeah, it's
You think it's Franco too?
No,
All
I
right,
know
Franco
everybody.
versus Robert. So I'm gonna read the survey.
versus Alfred.
I went out
versus
to
Alfred.
I went out on the streets of the world, you know, and spoke to 100 people, and I got a bunch of surveys done. So I'm gonna ask you guys a survey. First one to yell out the answer, I'll check the scoreboard, and if it's the number one answer, you fucking get to choose if you want to
Alright.
take the thing. If it's not the number one answer, they got a chance to score higher than you, and then they get to choose who goes next. You know, to Family Feud. You guys ready?
Yes.
Sweet.
Okay.
Yes.
So we
Yeah,
want.
it's
Alfred
the two
and
of them.
Franco.
So
yeah.
I
Alfred
answered
versus
first.
Franco.
I said yes first.
All right,
The
Do I win?
concentrates worked.
No, you
Yeah.
Funny.
Is this brain games?
So I guess I have a disclaimer question. Is that what Family Feud does? They get a bunch of surveys, and that's how the game's.
Yep.
All right.
These are all
educated.
surveys.
All right, I had no
Yeah,
idea.
but we
just Google
personally
Supposedly
didn't
now
go
and
out.
just be like, what did 100
So
people
you have to
say?
listen, right? Sometimes they'll say we surveyed 100 women, so you can't think like that. You have to be
alright,
like, what would a
alright.
woman say? What would a woman say? A woman.
Yeah, I'm clueless.
All right, you guys ready?
Family Feud.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
All right.
Well, no, it's the two of them.
Yep. Franco versus Alfred.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah. Batman. Where's Batman?
Fuck Robin.
He's growing up.
Name. All right. Here's the survey. Name a place where people are self-conscious about their looks.
Beach.
That's the number one answer with 56. Franco
Nice.
and Mikey, do you guys want to take the rest of the survey or hand it over to Holo?
Think you got
We'll
it?
take it.
You guys will take it? All right. What's your next? Survey. Name a place where people are self-conscious about their answer. If they miss 3, you guys get a steal. If they
Self-conscious
get all
about
the
their
answers
looks.
right, they win the card. There's only 3 answers to the survey.
Man.
We ask 100 people. The beach had 56
Literally.
56
out of
all right.
100. So that's, and there's only 3 answers.
Uh,
5, 4, 3, 2.
Your wedding day? I don't.
Oh,
That's one
nuts.
X.
Sorry.
Franco, 5. You guys could talk amongst each other.
Oh, you
5,
can?
4.
The nightclub. Like a nightclub.
A la chingada. You guys got one more chance before Holo comes and takes the steal. I am Steve Jimenez the Tercero. Make sure to follow Holo on Instagram at Holo.
What was
Is
the question again?
Where would
HOLO
you be self-conscious about your
H
looks?
Oh, about your
HOLOH. Hold on, bro. Stop interrupting me.
Oh, go ahead. We get more time to think.
All right. Name a place where people are self-conscious about their looks. 5, 4.
Swimming pool.
Oh, man. All the fatties that go swimming with their T-shirts in.
Hey.
You guys,
one
if you guys
correct
get-
answer and you
if
get
guys
a
get
steal.
one answer, you guys steal the card.
Oh,
Name
shit.
a place where people are self-conscious about their looks. You guys could talk to each other. You guys got a few seconds to think about it.
Oh, man.
We'll take
That
a
was,
few.
that
Yeah.
was blank, but I thought beach was amazing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah! Shout out to Kevin Von Teasy. Make
You
sure to
don't-
follow him at Kevin Von Teasy on Instagram. And make sure to follow his journey at My RSO Journey on Instagram. This episode is also brought to you by Cannabis Cactus. Go to cannabiscactus.com. Always free.
Never prickly.
Amen. What's the answer, Robert? Robert
We
seems
decided
confident.
on Jim.
That is the number 2 answer. Jim, you guys want to confirm the top 3?
Beach, gym, mall. Oh, the mall one's a little dated.
Oh yeah.
That's when I go to
thinking mall, but I
Amazon,
was
I'm
like,
very
no, people, the malls
self-conscious.
don't exist
You know what I was
anymore.
Oh yeah. This is like BC before COVID. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is 2019 BC.
Well, yeah, but good call. There was only one really to get. You weren't gonna get mall.
So
I'll
we do
tell you
2
that.
out of 3. We do 2 out of 3. It's not over. The Cannabis Cactus
all right,
/
all right.
Roach Clay podcast team is still in the game. I am Steve Jimenez the Tercero y gracias a mi familia. All right. Survey. Name a reality shows
is
are
me and
Yeah,
Robert.
yeah, I was gonna
outdated.
say
They're
this is
outdated.
Mike and I, yeah.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna go Robert versus Mikey. Let's do this. That's just says like name a reality show. Who the fuck watches? It's probably gonna be like what is it?
Survivor.
Survivor.
The
American
Bachelor.
Idol.
The Bachelor. American Idol.
What was the
Right.
question again?
No, hold on.
It was
This is the
name
real one.
reality shows.
This is the real one. I skipped that bullshit one.
It was too
Oh.
easy. It was
Steve
too
Jimenez the Tercero does not give a fuck. He eats tacos for dinner. Name something that was much cheaper 10 years ago.
A hamburger.
I don't know.
Oh, I need my judge to come over. No, my judge. My judge. Hold on. I want to see if you think this
Everyone's answering
qualifies.
before I can even think
said
of it. I didn't even
hamburger.
have anything yet.
When did he turn into
I
toe?
would have said.
Or when did,
I'm not going to say what. You answered.
It lands in the category. We give it to you. Food, and that's the number 4 out of 6 with 5. So it can be taken still. We'll take it, but let's see. You guys got a better answer? You guys could talk about it amongst yourself. Name something.
A vehicle.
You got it. That's the number 2 with 6 out of 100.
what was it?
So you guys
it was
go,
still-
do you guys want to take the card or hand it over?
Hand it over?
Yeah.
We'll hand it over.
Hand it over to Holo. So the number 1, the number 1. Oh yeah, the number 2 with cars and the number 4 with food. You guys ready?
Nope.
Name something that was much cheaper 10 years ago. We're now playing Family Feud. I am your host, Steve Jimenez the Tercero. Make sure to wash your hands and wash your ass. I just read a story about a lady that haven't washed her dreads in 10 years.
Vaginas.
Get that bitch out of my studio ASAP. Probably smells like dead dogs and dead chicken wings.
Escorts used to be a lot cheaper 10 years ago.
They were. You guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah, first we'll say gasoline.
Ding, 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 ding. That is the number one answer with 71.
Wow.
These guys confused.
Name something that was cheaper 10 years ago, feuders. Are you guys going to sweep the boys? Flawless victory?
Oh, a house.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
That's number 3.
Dang it, Franco said that
So
one.
1, 2, 3, and
Let's-
4 are taken.
Franco's got another
4
cat in
out
the bag,
of
though.
6.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, so you guys got 2 more to answer. You guys got 0 strikes.
Mike,
Make sure to follow Holo at Holo
I have
on
one.
Instagram,
I'm so hot.
HOLOH. And also on the interwebs, go to www.holoh.co and check out where you can find them. Where Leafly, right? Leafly got all your product too.
Yeah, Leafly's got it.
Yeah,
And,
go on
on our
Leafly, type-
website, we have all our locations that we're in
serve,
right now.
That serve the valley. Love it, love it. Fuck yeah. You guys ready for the next answer? Steve Jimenez the Tercero is impatient now. You guys are dominating my boys.
Let's do it.
Don't
right.
make me mad.
We got 2 more.
Name something cheap that was cheaper, that was much cheaper 10 years ago. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Apartment.
1.
Money.
One down. One down. 1 strike. Name something that was much cheaper
The fact
10
that you
years
had to go to the judge for that makes me think that it's still a dwelling of some type.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm thinking condominium.
Specify more on your exact.
What? Condominium?
No. Oh, shit.
Careful.
Are you all right, Mikey? All right.
I feel like I'm always catching Mikey.
No, that was good, though.
Remember when the chair broke on him?
yeah.
When
Well,
Joey
two
Bags,
times.
Joey Bags was here?
That was before I got hurt, though.
All right, 5.
Oh, you scare me,
4,
man.
3.
Clothing.
There, 2
those are
strikes. 2
specific.
strikes. Name something that was much cheaper 10 years ago. You are now tuned into the Roach Clip Podcast. I am your host, Stolo, for the evening, and I am joined by Franco, Mr. Mikey Milkis, and the team from Holo. Prody Milkis is right now taking a nice
Yes, sir.
siesta at the Glendale County Jail.
See you, man. Nice
Later,
meeting
homie
you.
Toe.
Later, homie toe.
And I got the judge. I got the judge of judges for Family Feud, Mr. Kevin Von Teasy. Make sure to follow his journey at my RSO Journey.
I can't believe there's still
Instagram.
2 answers left.
5.
I know, right?
4, 3.
Is it us?
Yeah. 5, 4, 3. Name something that was much cheaper 10 years ago.
Eggs.
Great.
I was looking at you and you're like, name something that was
Food,
right.
that's food.
food.
You guys can still. If they miss, you guys still win. You guys win the whole game. You guys are the champions.
There's call girls,
Real estate.
rental properties.
Yeah, well, food, housing's out of it.
What's
Yeah,
everything
so
else
an
thinking?
apartment or a condominium.
Plus, we already said house. That already kind of.
Clothing's not it.
But why did you check the judges when he said
Yes.
apartment?
Maybe
Yeah, and condominium.
technology, phones,
Land? Do you think land is one?
maybe.
Gold.
Oh wait, I got one. TVs. Wait,
that
that
your-
wouldn't be on there. Oh wait, hold
Is
on.
that your
Well, like
final
tech-
answer?
Technology?
5.
Technology.
Ding 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 ding.
Yep.
Electronics?
Computers.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
said
our
that's
phone
right.
is a computer.
yes.
Yeah. Judges.
Yeah, we'll take
Judge.
technology. Technology
Judge.
falls in that. Yeah.
Do you guys feel robbed?
No, computers.
right.
I say
That was fair.
technologies,
Okay.
That's fair.
Steve
Yeah.
Jimenez III is a fair guy. I'm just a host though. I don't.
But now that means it's 1-1, right?
But I don't know. Yep, 1-1.
Rent.
All right, let's do this. One more round.
Was it? What is it?
It was rent.
Rent.
Oh, rent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, rent.
That's
If you guys would have had rent, you guys would have won.
like rental property.
I think.
Rentals.
I know. I heard you say. I started cracking up.
You're right. Rent is a pretty basic thing you pay for every month. I just didn't think of that.
And what you paid 10 years ago? Half what you pay now?
Right? Yeah. Not
We're in
half,
the, we're in the
but
depression back then.
actually, only $300 less.
All
All right,
right,
sorry. Go ahead.
We surveyed 100 homeless men. No, I'm just joking.
What's the best, Scott?
Franco and Alfred.
Name something of
We're not
which
homeless.
you are sure to find plenty of dirty ones in a bachelor's apartment.
Socks.
Ooh, that was pretty close. Who said it first, Judge? Let's
I
give
heard
it to
socks,
Let's give it
yeah.
to the guest. They're the guest. Yep. You said socks.
And I'm guessing that's higher than strippers, or is it not?
Crunchy ass socks.
No, cause look.
Yeah, you gotta specify.
Yep.
Socks.
It's not there.
Oh,
Well, no.
You get.
Strippers.
Oh yeah, strippers.
Well, socks would be laundry, right?
Ooh. Ooh.
What?
Classified.
It's like entertainment.
You think so? He's the judge. Girly magazines.
Girly magazines.
I don't
No,
think so.
no.
Adult
Let's
adult
just change
material.
the card. Change the card
Okay.
now. Everybody.
Yeah, I thought socks or laundry would have to be on there.
Yeah.
It's on there.
Should've
Well,
been
socks
dishes.
is laundry.
Also
That's.
has dirty towels. So
Yeah, socks is laundry though. They would have
At a
passed
bachelor
that.
party?
That's a pass.
All right, I got a good one. I got a great one.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
You guys
Yes.
ready? Steve Jimenez the Tercero, straight from Mexicali, Mexico. Vengo a gusto y preparado.
All right,
You guys
anybody
ready?
can play. Whoever answers first.
All right. Team.
Yeah.
All right. Yep.
Game for that?
Team
Yep.
deathmatch.
I'm down for that. Tell me what you think is the most boring state in America.
Maryland.
North Dakota.
Damn it.
Maryland, Maryland,
North
Maryland,
Dakota.
Maryland.
Damn, they get that fast.
next was what?
North Dakota.
No. He's not playing. Your guys' turn.
Oklahoma.
Nope.
What?
North Dakota.
North Dakota is number 1 with 13.
But
Survey
Fargo.
says.
That's the one that comes to mind for some reason. 'Cause
Right.
I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
but-
Hey, dude, I'm glad it went back to you. You guys want to take the card or hand it over?
You want to take another stab at it?
We'll
At
take
the
it,
most
yeah.
boring
Yeah, all right, we'll
states.
take it.
Man.
You guys taking it?
You have
Yeah,
to.
we'll take it.
All right.
Iowa.
Ooh,
That is number 5. Ding,
What?
ding, 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 ding. Mr. Arthur Phillip, the Arturo, the Felipe, the fifth.
Idaho.
Idaho is number 4. Ding, 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 ding. With 7.
Wait, so homeless people answer this?
No, this is right.
all right, nope. See, he's trying to break up your streak. That's how we control the game. Slow,
Yeah.
slow
What
it
was the
down.
question?
Robert.
Wyoming.
Oh, I love Wyoming. Yeah,
Ah.
I love Wyoming. Jackson Hole.
Ohio.
Alfred.
But Cleveland rocks.
Ah.
Yeah,
Robert.
Cleveland. You gotta think of places
You
with
can talk
no
to your
major
partner if you
cities.
need to. You're now tuned into the Roach Clip
Ooh,
podcast. This
coleslaw.
is Family Feud Roach Clip edition. I am your host, Steve Jimenez, El Tercero.
South Dakota.
Both the Dakotas.
And that's 3 strikes. You guys can steal it for the grand prize.
Yeah, there's still 40-something states left. Just
You guys got one answer. One
What
answer.
is it? They like to ride horses? I don't know.
That's where they get the butt sex is in Montana.
Come on, guys.
Well, Brokeback Mountain. Okay,
Brokeback.
it's either gonna be Montana or Nebraska.
Nebraska's fun.
Okay, then.
All right,
then
Nebraska.
Montana. No,
Montana.
Montana. Montana.
Nebraska or Montana? Come
Montana.
on.
Montana.
I say Montana.
What do you say?
Nebraska.
And what's your final answer?
Montana.
Montana, you guys fucked up. You guys win! Nebraska was number 2.
Oh.
Nebraska was the number 2.
But Mikey just said it was fun.
Yeah, what's fun? What's fun in Nebraska, Mike? I have no idea.
Damn, y'all fucked up. Serve me up a dab, dude, for that one. I need a
Yeah,
dab.
all right, I'll get you ready.
That's
Hell
why.
yeah.
All right, good game. Congratulations.
They
That
got.
was fun.
It's only fair for the guests to win.
That was a great game, boys.
This
some
is what we call a
reason-
cliffhanger.
I said go with his answer. He said go with my answer.
Yeah, Nebraska was a great choice.
That was funny.
Damn, you guys would have won,
I
dude.
don't
Yeah,
see how
what?
South Dakota's on there. What do you?
Hey,
do with
Holo
South
took the
Dakota?
title. You guys are the champions for now.
We'll take it. We'll
We'll
take it.
we'll do a grand finale in December with all the guest winners, and we'll do a little tournament. You guys down?
So far,
oh
you're
yeah,
down.
totally down.
But so far, you guys are the only ones that have beat the great.
Yeah,
Roach
we don't
Clip.
usually lose. Franco's pretty quick on the draw. I know.
Nah,
Yeah, no,
he
you got
was.
me.
You should have trusted his fucking draw.
I
Yeah,
did.
he
I
knew
said
it.
go with his answer. He
But-
then switched to my answer.
Did he? Hey,
He
hey.
convinced me.
Wait.
I was like, wait, you're right. There's nothing fun in
That was
Nebraska.
God.
Yeah.
It happens.
Oh, that
But
was
then
beautiful.
also you should go with your instinct. And for some reason I kept thinking Montana, but I don't know why.
Well-
It probably has horse farms and all kinds of cool
I've
stuff.
never been to Nebraska. It seems boring.
I've
does.
obviously picked something on my nose because
Cows and
I'm
stuff.
gonna
Oh, shit,
go
it is.
Watch, tend to it.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, this is
Robert.
great.
Appreciate it.
Alfred,
Yep.
Holo, any last words, any final thoughts before we close out the show?
No, was a great time. I would say, we'd love to be back anytime. Thanks for having us. You guys are an awesome squad. Glad we got to christen the table with some dabs in a session, you know what I mean? And again, anyone looking for HOLOH, we're in a lot of dispensaries. You can look us up on Leafly, and we're out here just trying to bring good product to the market. So we humbly ask
a whole
anyone.
straight hour of education, dude. Thank you, guys.
Money. Thank you,
That
man.
was beautiful.
Your dabs ready?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh.
Robert, any last words before I take this dab and pass out?
No, just what Alfred said. We're just trying to bring just awesome, high quality product, to the market, to the medical market. So I'm.
Oh man, breaking the guest equipment.
Sorry, dude.
You're rolling on
Like,
that.
sorry, sorry. There's nothing left in there. Jeez.
Mikey, any last words?
No, thank you guys for your attention to detail, and I mean we appreciate the support. We're gonna keep telling everybody about it. So
It's just awesome. We finally got to come out here.
no,
And
I
finally-
appreciate you making it out to the shop. You're obviously welcome here anytime, and we'll see you at Nature's Medicine. That's where I'll see you next. I'll pick up some the next special time I see that BOGO pop up.
Franco, anything you would like to close out the show with?
No, thank you for everyone that came through. Thank you for the education on the brand, but also product. And then shout out to our caterers for the food today. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Dolo for making that happen. Shout out Prody, man. We're thinking about you all show. Sorry you couldn't be here.
You'll be back Wednesday.
Wednesday? Yeah, cool. But yeah,
Hell yeah. Thanks 100%, 100 times,
Thank you, guys.
100
Thank you, guys.
hearts to our guest, HOLOH. Make sure to follow him at HOLOH on Instagram. Go to HOLOH, www.holo.co on the interwebs. If you don't do that, you guys already know what to do. Go fuck yourself. We are the Roach Clip Podcast. Ay, 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 ay.
Peace.
Goodbye.
Whose is this? Somebody's grow science? It's not mine.
Oh, that was